Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to the Young Smirks podcast. I'm with Sheikh Rageah. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Sheikh, I'm sorry, I've got Boona. Just 1 minute, Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum, bro. How you doing?
إنك لا تهدي من أحببت ولكن الله يهدي من يشاء.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How's it
Good to
going?
see you again.
Yeah, good to see you, Sheikh. SubhanAllah, we're in the Sakina Center, the Sakina Community Center.
Yes.
This is your center in
Oh.
Toronto.
Welcome to Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Alhamdulillah.
your first time.
It's my first time, alhamdulillah.
How do you like the snow outside?
Yeah, alhamdulillah. No, it's nice, but it gets a bit too much sometimes.
It's too cold
Freezing. You know me, I'm an African. I love Africa, so
for you. From Uganda to cold Canada.
10,
From the heat of.
it's cold. Yeah. So Sheikh, I wanted to pick your brains today.
Bismillah.
I was with you the other day, and we was taking a car journey, maybe 30-40 minutes, and you received like 3 phone calls from Muslim sisters who they've got children who are doubting Islam, or even to the extent of maybe they're saying they're not Muslim anymore. So
Right.
This was shocking to me. I mean, you know me, I work in the field of dealing with atheism, but to see a local imam, someone who's, of course you do international dawah, but you are a very local imam as well. You're dealing with real life
Right.
issues, with family issues, etc. To actually hear that was shocking to me. SubhanAllah. And then when I asked you, you're like, yeah, this is common, this is all.
Yeah. It's really very painful to talk about. For many reasons, because number one, it shows how much work of da'wah we did, and it also indicates where we're heading. Right? Before we used to, like, I remember as a young man who was growing up this country. I remember when we used to say, this sister, she just put a niqab on. That means she passed the stage of abaya, the stage of just a nice jilbab. Now she's putting niqab on, she's putting gloves on. We were experiencing, the brother, mashallah, now finally he's letting his beard grow, his thobe is short. So we were getting closer and closer and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to the deen and the practice of deen. We were getting into the nawafil and the sunnah, the small sunnah. How should I move my finger? Should I do this way? Should I do that way? Should I do a tawarruk in the tashahhud? Should I just sit on? And then we were like, wow, we're getting there. And then I don't know where we went, but with all this confusion and fights over so-called manhaj and labeling people. And then some people, especially some da'is, they decided to not to push people too far and not to practice 100% Islam the way, a person. So let us meet them in the middle. But that middle was not met.
Like
it became a slope.
Compromising a lot.
Yes, which, let's say, compromised a little bit. Perhaps they were following the Ibn Taymiyyah has a beautiful statement which was said, من المستحب ترك المستحب لتأليف القلوب. He say it was likable is for you to leave that which is likable by Allah or lovable by Allah to bring the hearts together, right? So, for example, I'll give you an example. If you go to a Hanafi masjid where they see moving a finger, which is considered to be a sunnah, it's something that is bid'ah, then don't do it, right? Just for them to understand, and they don't shut you like that. But Sheikh Abu Ishaq al-Huwaini, he commented on the statement of Ibn Taymiyyah, and he said, it is likable to leave that which is likable by Allah temporarily to unite the hearts. So what would happen with this a layer of da'is or English-speaking da'is. I think we thought by compromising a little bit, bringing, leave this and be in the middle, we realized we were on a landslide. And now you can't stop it. And then that we have other parties who throwing, throwing, I don't know what to call on the da'wah itself. And then a lot of young people is like, you guys are too much. You guys, I don't know if I ever told you that a sister calls me and she said, first person that I listened to was you, and you were talking about repentance, and I like to. Then I turned my life around, and I started putting the hijab on, putting the abaya on, putting everything, mashallah, according to Islam.
By the way, Sheikh, subhanAllah, just sorry to cut you, but I also got a message from a sister, subhanAllah, from the States. She was also saying, she wanted to pass the salam to you, because one of your lectures, you were stood on the minbar, and it really changed her, subhanAllah.
Yes. So it's true. Then speakers, when they speak, they speak about Allah and His Messenger, and definitely will touch the hearts of the believers, because that's what Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. But what happened with that particular sister, which was sad, and she calls me after 7 years. She said, I went to the masjid to learn. And then people saying, oh, you listen to this guy, you listen to that guy, he's a mubtadi'. And she got so confused that she bounced back from the whole deen. She just bounced back, said, keep the hijab, keep the salah, I'm going back to what I used to do, which was a lot less, stressful and confusion. I like this person, I like to listen to him, and now you're showing me all this. So we also had those into the mix. So what happened with a lot of youth, they just left Islam. And they said, forget it. Now, it became so common. Remember my point before, we were going up from hijab to abaya to niqab, gloves and all that. And now it's about, just, salah and, Jum'ah, Eid, nothing. And then why do I have to worship God? So it went, and that indicates where we're going. Where are we going with this da'wah? So it is extremely dangerous. The saddest part is, Brother John, is most of the da'is, they live in a little bubble, really. They live in their own khilafah, in their own little, masjid. And I'm not saying all, but some of the da'is. And they don't see that. They don't see that. But what they see is that the Jum'ah number is increasing. What they see, that the number of musallin is increasing. So they're more concerned about numbers, the quantity, rather than quality. But they don't see, yes, you have, if you literally, let us say the city of Toronto, they say the Muslims are around 700 to 750,000 in the city of Toronto. Now, if you combine all the masajids, do we have 700,000 Muslims praying Jum'ah, for example? The answer is no. Right? So the percentage of people that come to you, they may be as, administrator or imam, they may be large, but you're missing the greater, number of Muslims because you don't want to, leave your little comfort zone.
Are you finding a lot of these youth, they're denying the existence of Allah, or they just don't want to worship Allah?
They are different.
Do they still believe?
Oh, no. We're not talking about someone who's saying, I'm a Muslim, I'm a sinner, I should pray. No, we're talking about people who say, no, number one, Muhammad is a liar, alayhi salam. Muhammad, no. Number two, I don't want any organized religion, right? I will very rarely come across of a Muslim who said, I don't want Islam, I'm this religion. I moved on to a better religion or to a different religion. All of them, the best of them, they will say, they must be a creator, but I don't know how to get to it. I don't know which one of you is telling the truth. So that's.
Do you think they're just using it as an excuse?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. However, but we gave them the platform, right? We gave them the platform. Instead of teaching them the pure Islam, we teach confusion. And a lot of us I don't want anybody to catch feelings and say, hey, now he's labeling us. But a lot of us, we don't teach the correct, and at the same time, we're more concerned about how much he memorized, how much material that he has, rather than how much of that he understood or she understood. I'd rather have a child who memorized 10, even 20, alhamdulillah, juz amma, who really understand what they memorize, rather than someone with 30 juz who don't understand anything about it. So there are confusion. At the same time, university, that's where all the problem. And us as imams, we really don't have presence in where the da'wah should take place. Like, we're not on the streets, most of us, I'm not saying everybody, we're not on the streets, we're not in the university campuses, we're not we're not. We are in our same masajid, counseling this. Okay, before this young man got confused, where was I as an imam?
Yeah.
Where was I? What was my role? Where did you get this confusion from the masjid or from outside? So
you're preaching to the best of the community, because
so
they're the ones in the masjid.
Exactly, and you satisfied.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
As an imam, you see this crowd and you're happy. But you should go after the one with the earrings. You should go after the one with no hijab.
Yeah.
You should go after the one with tattoos. You should go after the one with, those are the one who needs da'wah, not this young boy, who you see him every Friday halaqah or every Saturday class. That's good. Maintain that.
Yeah.
But at least some of us should go after those, right? And if you go to universities, I think that is a testimony of the level of da'wah that we have.
In the UK, we was doing a lot of street da'wah, but we found, college in England, college is like between 16 and 18, 19-year-olds. This transition between high school and university.
Right.
I don't know what it is in Canada, but this 16 to 19-year-olds, just before they reach the university level, they've not figured it out yet. Most of them believe in a creator. They're not shy about their religion. But once they're committed into university, they've enrolled to a 3 to 5 year course, they're financially committed for that university degree, and most of them, they've chosen, they either become practicing in university and they find the deen in university, or this is where they go wild and they just leave Islam. University is like, you need a lot of da'wah there, but there needs to be a lot more da'wah before university, before they've made them choices.
I agree.
Yeah.
Those years are the years of confusion. I mean, a young person is growing, and every day they go to a different stage in their lives. And growing mentally, physically, emotionally, they themselves sometimes confused. They don't know what they want. They don't know what makes them happy. They don't know. They're still figuring themselves out. And that's what I'm saying. In the foundation, in the masajid, that is where we should start from a young age. But let us start with them, something that they can, continue with and understand it. At the same time, you see a younger kids at the masajid, the Islamic schools, and Islamic environment. But all the youth, like the age that you mentioned, they're not in the masajid. They're not in the Islamic events and conferences. And definitely, most of them, they won't be in Islamic event at university level. So we do have a small window with them. Small window. That window, that's when you really need to inject all your imaniyat, all your spirituality, all the education, Islamic education, all the guidance, so they can, survive through the years of higher education. And I always say these professors and these people at the university level, they are professional in confusing these kids. And they themselves, they believe in something, and they want, pass on to these students who are coming to them with, clear heads, clear mind, they want direction. And these people, they say, don't worry about God. God does not exist. It's just an illusion, somebody to control you.
You was telling me about some youth who they chose to study Islamic studies.
Yeah.
And subhanAllah, that shocked me, Sheikh.
Yeah. But
when you were saying that they went straight to the doubts of Islam.
Yes.
They went straight to things like slavery, hijab. They were not covering the basic.
No,
knowledge.
because these universities, in my entire da'wah, there's only one teacher in one of the colleges that I met who was teaching the correct Islam. And he was a non-Muslim in University of Calgary. Everybody else was teaching Islam that I was like, what are you talking about? And again, it's a trap. Young people, they think, oh, it's an easy mark. I can get away, you know, with a good mark out of this class, and Islam is basic. I know everything, and then they go to a completely different field. And again, this is as the da'is, as teachers, we fail to inform these young people from young age. So at least they say, oh no, I know, you know, this side of the story. So they go to university, and these professors are teaching them a chapter that we never talked about in the masajids. We never, you know, introduced to them. So to them, this is the source. This is the correct Islam. And when they come back and they're like, Dad, Mom, what is this? You know, what about the hijab? What about inheritance? What about, you know, this? What about prisoners? What about slavery? And then you have to try to undo what the damage that the universities did already, which is very difficult, because, you know, when you have a clear mind, pure mind, whatever settles down in the bottom, that's the first thing, and it will always be the foundation. And to remove that is a challenge.
SubhanAllah. So what do we need to do to change it? How do we change our method of what needs to be done?
The da'is, the imams, we really need to reform the da'wah. I don't mean innovate. That's not allowed. What I'm saying, while you're holding on to the principle of Islam, but at the same time, you gotta be in tune with what is happening on the ground. You can't be teaching about, you know, you gotta do this when you don't know what they're going through. You don't know who they listen to. You don't know who they follow. You don't know any of this. How are you gonna counter that? And then you bring a principle that was acceptable and applicable at the time of Ibn Taymiyyah.
Yeah.
You know, like, remember, I don't know, like some of the Middle Eastern country, you know, Islam then is different than Islam today. You know, the way is complete, everything changed. So you also have to change with the change. Again, don't deviate from the teaching of Islam, but try to maintain the need of the young people. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا, that, you know, thus we made you a middle path nation. You don't go either extreme. You don't go, you know, everything is haram and you become haram police, and you don't go everything is okay. Allah is Ghafur Rahim. You know, this is how, you know, deviant sects did before. The problem with that right now, and I see from some da'is, they can't even maintain the level that they at. Every year they go lower. Like they're not going, okay, let's go back to the principle with these people that, you know, I have them, let me pick them up. It's more like that. I have them, let me go lower. And it's like a dark ocean, and you keep going deeper and deeper and deeper away from the light of Islam, to the point that you're the only light, so you start deviating, you start, you know, fabricating. And it's an extremely dangerous thing. And that's what I was telling you. You know, some of the da'is now, they want to water down Islam, but they water down too much that they themselves are sliding to the slope. They don't know where to stop.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous. You know, I remember when a beer was sunnah, and I remember the same guys were saying, well, you got to have a fist. Okay, so we accept. And then they were going, oh, no. In this madhab and that madhab, you should have a beer. It could be anything. It could be any beer. You know, it could be just a laser size, you know, laser cut beer. You know, and they're like, well, if you just have it little on your chin, that's also acceptable. So, and at the end, it's like, well, it's not actually a must.
Sheikh, just to clarify, you don't shave your beard, do you?
No, actually, I don't.
Because
that's how much Allah gave you.
Because I think you told me there's a brother, he'd been shaving his
Yes.
his beard to look like you, right?
And yes, it was a funny incident. The brother came to me. I was getting on the member, running to the khutbah, and he said, "Hey, brother, I love your khutbahs. You know, I do everything. I wear your kufi and I wear your thobe. I even shave. It's like a Pakistani, brown brother. You know how brown brothers they have a lot of hair, facial hair. He said, I shave my beard so I can look like you. I said, brother, come on. I used to dream having a thick beard. Wallahi, I was busy in my sleep and I'm thinking, I'm in a dream that we have a big, thick beard. MashaAllah, But that's how much Allah gave me.
Yeah. Sheikh, I want to speak about a recent issue. It's fairly, you would say, controversial, but I want to kind of just clarify this point really, because in this day and age we've got a lot of media trying to attack Islam, and they try to pick on certain principles of Islam, one being marriage. In Islam teaches that a man is permissible to have 4 wives.
Right.
So I know recently in Toronto there was a media crew going round trying to kind of speak to different imams, trying to catch people out to see if imams are kind of doing 2nd, 3rd, 4th marriages within the mosque. Basically it's just to kind of create a lot of confusion about Islam, try to make Islam look bad, etc. One of the things I was thinking is, of course, in the Western world, places like England, Canada, America, it's totally fine within their laws to have as many boyfriends and girlfriends as one pleases, and this is something that is promoted in the media, it's promoted and praised and celebrated, amongst the movie stars, the music stars, the music, the movies. All the movies have a love story in them and the marriage is not included. So it's totally fine from a cultural perspective within the Western world that one can have a partner outside of marriage, and multiple partners if you like. And then at the same time they're kind of throwing dirt on Islam to try to make Islam look bad, to say, well, you allow 4 wives and this is not right, etc. When in reality in the Western world they don't accept Islamic marriages in the first place,
Right.
Because technically an Islamic marriage done within the Western world, I mean, there was just a recent court decision by a judge in the UK, which he's ruled that the legal status of an Islamic marriage is that it's
not valid.
It's not valid. It's
Right.
not legally binding. It's just like under English law, which I'm guessing it would be the same in Canada. It's just like a boyfriend and girlfriend. So when we talk about so-called Islamic marriages in the West, it is basically legally boyfriend and girlfriend in that sense, as long as one doesn't register with the government, etc. But there's all this hype around, this trying to throw dirt on Islam, and I just wanted to clarify, to the people, I want to talk about this subject because, some youth have doubts about this, even some adults, some Muslims, and how does this fit into a modern day secular society?
Let's go back a little bit about the beginning of history and the teaching of the prophets, starting from Noah alayhi salam. He had more than one wife. Abraham had more than one wife. That confirmed in the Bible and the Torah, both of them. David, or what we call Dawood alayhi salam, he had more than Sulaiman alayhi salam. He had more. So it's not a new thing. It's not something that Islam fabricated. It's something that existed way before Islam. Islam just carried on. The difference is, as Muslims, we cannot do what the nations before us did, which is by themselves abrogating the rules. Us, whatever we found in the Quran, we take it, we accept it. We don't have the authority to filter it, temper with it, change it, add it. We can't. If nations should be forced of, or whatever denomination, whatever religion, if they decided to take that from their own faith, that's their liberty. They have liberty in that. But we don't have that liberty as Muslims. We don't. Islam is. So when it comes to the now in our era, as you stated, the second marriage, not marriage, nikah, because there's a marriage which is the legal marriage, in Canada, in Europe, in America, is not allowed.
Yeah.
Legal marriage, which means you go to the city hall, you get a what do you call an application, you fill the application, you get a marriage license. If you do two of that, that's illegal. That's an act of it's a crime.
Yeah. Bigamy, yeah.
Exactly. In Islam, according to the system, they don't acknowledge the nikah that is done between a husband and two wives or three wives or four wives. They don't accept that in Canada or in America or in the West. They don't. They don't acknowledge. They acknowledge existence of a mistress. A man can have more than one girlfriend. They acknowledge that. But they don't acknowledge them as married couple. So what I always say to the people who wants to get married, I say you can't get married, you cannot have two marriage licenses because it's illegal. But if Islamically, are we allowed to have more than one wife? You can't say no, because Islamically you are allowed. That's part of your Sharia. It is not must.
This is very contradictory from their perspective, because there are more women in the world than men in every society, apart from India,
right.
Incidentally, because the parts of India are known for killing
girls,
the girls,
yes,
the baby
and by the
girl.
way, it's illegal to have ultrasound before delivery, because now if your wife is pregnant in India, they can't tell you the gender of the child.
Oh, subhanAllah.
Because they will kill the girl if she's
Yeah. So aside from India, in every country, statistically, there's more women than men. So when we're talking from an Islamic perspective, that there's only one way to have intimacy, and that's through heterosexual marriage, between a man and a woman. And so, in fact, Islam provides a solution for this issue in society.
And that's the key word, solution. So this is a solution to an existing problem. Tell me any other way that you can solve this problem.
SubhanAllah.
Tell me any other way.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Very insightful.
Inshallah.
I'm going to reserve my opinions. I'm going to watch it back and see and if I agree, if not, I'm going to write a PDF about you, Sheikh. And I ask Allah to accept it from you, and I ask the people, to accept it from you as well. And, may Allah put good words in our mouth and good wisdom
Ameen.
in our mouth. Ameen.
إنك لا تهدي من أحببت ولكن الله يهدي من يشاء